All right, so we are going to do our first pen project using our UV resin skim coat. And in order to prep the barrel, you're just going to take one of your barrels that we gave you. You're going to use a high grit sandpaper, 180, 220, whatever you have around, just enough to roughen it up. You don't want to take the finish off. You just want to roughen it up to give it a nice rough texture. Then we're going to use some alcohol spray, and we are going to spray that barrel down. We want it to be nice and clean for when we start to coat our pen. So make sure it's nice and dry. Then I'm gonna add it to my 3/4 inch dowel rod, just like that. And I have a finger cot on. You guys notice there is a bonus this month with some finger cots in it. These are nitrile finger cots. These are not latex. These are nitrile, so they're gonna give you that double protection. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a line of skim coat right along this pen, just like this. Now this is a fun project. This is just going to teach you a couple different techniques that we're going to use alcohol ink for and glitter, and then we're going to do an ombre look so that the silver glitter that you guys received in your box is going to coincide with the microfine glitter that we also sent. Now the microfine glitter is from our Super Sparkle collection, so it's very, very, very sparkly, so be ready for that. And we're just going to kind of mix those together. Now I'm going in and I added a little bit more skim coat. I want it to be a little bit heavier on the initial coat. Make sure that you're layering it a little bit heavier so that it really pulls that glitter in. You want to make sure that you got it everywhere. Now I usually try to go in one direction to make sure there's nothing that's an obstacle, maybe a piece of dust, anything like that. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our finger cot off, and that way my glove stays clean. I don't worry about it messing anything up in my workstation. And then I'm going to use the file folder method to glitter my pen. So I'm just going to open up my file folder. I'm gonna grab my glitter. Again, the glitter we're using is Pearl River. That's the one that was included in your Rockabox this month. And we're only going to do half of the pen. So we're gonna do half of the pen. I'm gonna go a little bit more than half so that I have a little bit more real estate to work with. But this has a really nice purpley blue glow to it, so I think you guys are really gonna like it. Now it doesn't really matter if you do your silver first or your microfine first. It's completely up to you and what you want to do. This is just how I prefer to do it. So I usually will dust enough to coat the pen, and then I will kind of dab it down in the glitter if you can. Now on this it might be a little bit harder because you don't want to touch this to your file folder, so you just want to go very gentle because we're going to save the other end of that pen to do the silver color, which is what we're going to do next. All right, so now we're going in with the glitter that was custom made specifically for your pen. This is called Blinded by the Light. So this is a mirror holographic, and it's custom cut, so we have a lot of different cuts in here, which makes it very, very easy to use. But you guys, this is so beautiful. I love this glitter. It's perfect for this project. The nice thing about this glitter too is that there are fine shards in it that will coat in between the chunky. So those of you that struggle with a chunky glitter, you don't want to do a ton of sanding, this is going to be the glitter for you. It will help you to eliminate all of that legwork. So once we get this nice and coated, we're going to roll it in the glitter below so that we know it's laying flat. That's the key, is knowing that it's laying flat. Now you can use parchment paper for this, you can use wax paper for this, you can use the tap it method, which I can show you. There's lots of tricks to this, but getting it flat is a big part of it. Now I tend to do the microfine on the lower part that's touching the dowel rod because I feel like it's a little bit easier to clean up. But you can do it however you want to do it. Now if you're going to use the tap it method, I usually take my little holders off and I will tap it down in the glitter just like this, and then I'll use my glove and tap the glitter down. That way you don't have have to worry about anything that's standing up that might cause for more sanding. I try to eliminate the opportunity to have to sand whenever possible. So we're just going to tap it down, make sure it's laying nice and flat, just like this. And then as soon as you feel like you're happy with it, you're going to put it in your lamp at 48 watts for about 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, to get that cure. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I have my Magic Cure lamp set to 48 watts, and I'm going in, and we're doing it for 120 seconds. Once that's fully cured, you guys, this is gonna be so pretty. I love this. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to add your dots, or spots, I should say, to this with your alcohol ink. And you can do this any color. I'm going to use green today just for fun. But the whole point of this is to show you guys different techniques so that you know how to do these things moving forward if you want to change it up and learn different products and how they work and what kind of effect they create for you. So we are going to go ahead and use the green to just add little tiny spots onto our pen. And the cool thing is they kind of bleed around. You can do different colors around them as a border if you want to, but the premise is to look like a cow spot, which indeed it certainly does. And it's just something fun, something different. You can do leopards, cows, whatever you want to do, but the possibilities are endless. You can use any colors you want. It's just a really fun, interesting technique to use. Now, after you get the spots the way that you would like them, we are going to go ahead and let those dry for about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and put a coat of Skim Coat on. Once your ink dries, then you're going to want to take your glitter brush and just brush off any excess glitter like that. And then we're going to go ahead and add our next layer of Skim Coat. All right, we're going to put on our little finger caught here, and then we're going in with our Skim Coat. Now coat is going to take a little bit more than the previous one because that glitter is going to soak up a lot of that resin. So whereas we may have used 1.5 lines before, definitely going to need at least 2 lines of resin. And just make sure that you're doing a thin coat, but you do want it to be fully covered because that is what is going to protect the glitter when we sand this down. So after we get this coat on, then we're going to cure it, and then we're going to sand it down until it's completely dull. Once it's completely dull, then we know it's time for that final coat. When it's completely dull, that's how you get rid of any imperfections, any bumps, any glitter that might be sticking out. Those are the things that you want to be looking for when you're doing this. Don't forget the top. I always pat the top. And again, moving in the same direction just to keep the little spot resin down here as clean as you possibly can so that you're not mixing the glitters unless you want to. I mean, it is a pretty glitter, so it really is up to you and what you want, but I'm trying to keep them segmented so that you guys can see what the final result will look like. So now we're going to go ahead and use the Magic Cure lamp. Once again, we're going to do 2 minutes at 48 watts. And now it's time to sand down this beautiful pen. You can do this in a sink. What I usually do is attach it to my drill with the dowel rod, put it in a piece of sandpaper like this, and over running water, I will gently hold this and turn this. This will minimize dust, allow you to quickly sand it, and just kind of check it in between, make sure it's nice and smooth. I'm gonna go sand this and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got this sanded down, and let me show you what I mean by a dull finish. This is completely dull, all the way down, super smooth, no bumps. So doing this on the drill under the water is really the best way to get your pens down to this dull finish. Now we're going to bring this pen back to life. This is one of those things where you just really have to trust the process, because you feel like you're taking off the glitter, but that's really not the case. You're just taking off a very, very fine layer of that resin just to even it all out and make everything look nice and cohesive. So we're going to take our skim coat now. We're going to go right along this pen, and you will see what I mean when I say it will bring it back to life. Just how you envision it to be. The only difference is it's not going to have any bumps. It's not going to have any shards of glitter sticking out. And it's not going to be uneven. You're going to have a perfectly even, amazing pen. And you can see with this final coat, you only need that one line. Less is more. People that put too much resin on, that gives you the opposite effect. You're going to have, it's going to create bumps because this is meant to be applied in very, very fine layers. So I always go in one direction. That way, if there's a piece of glitter that happened to hang out there or dust that got on it, any of that stuff, don't have to worry about it because I'm just going to scoot it all the way to the edge. Once I get that coat on, I'm just going to turn it a couple times to level it out. You guys, look how beautiful that is. So pretty. Now again, you can do this with any color. This is just showing you the technique. If you want to do black, you're going to get like more of a black cow spot look. You can do black with brown around it. You can do brown. You can do all different kinds of colors. Everyone is going to love how this turns out. Okay, so now I'm going to bring over my Magic Cure lamp. I'm going up to 48 watts. I'm going to stick it in the lamp, and we're doing 120 seconds. All right, so let's take a peek at the final. This is what it looks like as a finished pen. This is so cute. All right, so let's go ahead and reassemble this onto the pen barrel. We're going to unscrew the bottom part. We're going to take this and put it right onto our pen barrel and just simply screw that bottom back on. And you are left with an adorable cow print blingy pen.